you? No, now recording. Now we're recording. Okay, good.
Now we're cold opening. Yeah, all those things that you said
beforehand. So all the embarrassing stuff. Okay, good.
All the embarrassing stuff about how sweaty it was in here the last time I made you record with me.
A melted human
and then you wore
pile.
shorts. Yeah,
shorts, t-shirt this time. Lots of deodorant. Oh man.
Yeah. Come on, because the room you're sitting in right now. So for everyone listening, hi everybody.
Hi.
This is like an inside the studio. This is like a studio capture. I don't know what we're gonna call this. I'm gonna call it. I don't know what I'm going to call it, but I wanted to do a series where we talk about how we actually get ready to record these games. That's something you guys don't see. And Chase and I have done this for 4.5, 5 years now. You've been coming to the studio?
At least that time, yeah. Ever since Ranger Shadow Deep, that first game.
Yeah, and that was right before COVID?
I think so, or year before COVID or something like that.
Yeah, it was like the year before COVID, 2019, I think.
So
it's like 4 years.
Year?
Yeah.
Yep.
So the way that these like projects get done usually is someone says, hey, I'd really like to play X, and then we sit around and we talk about what that would look like. And this is perfect for that. This is The Doomed. I reviewed this last week, and you can watch up in the cards. I'm not going to ka-chow it because that would be stolen from somebody else, but pa-chow, how in the cards.
Wow, there it is.
And there it is. There's the video I did reviewing The Doomed. This is the perfect, I think, example for a first video like this about what is that sort of like how the sausage is made from the point of view like recording one of these things where we sit down and we talk about it. We each pick a faction. And you have done this a couple of times. We've done this with a few different games. I'm trying to think of what games we've played. We played Relic Blade. We played
Sludge.
That's right.
Last Days. We played Gamma Wolves. We played a ton of stuff. I can't remember everything.
It's been a bunch of games.
Oh, yeah.
But every time it starts with the conversation of like, well, what is that going to look like for us? So for The Doomed, I think what's interesting is we've got 4 different sort of like warband styles we could do. You have a pile of like models you wanted to use?
Yeah, because they're always sitting in my bits box, just not doing anything.
That is an esoteric pile of miniatures. So do me a favor, grab your phone and just take a picture of them so I can overlay it to this so you can see what picture or what miniatures you've decided to bring in. It is a lot. There's some... Those look like Warzone minis.
I know there's War Machine minis here.
No, I mean the guys with the guns.
These guys here?
Oh, those War. Yeah,
those are Chronopia. Those are first.
Oh, Chronopia crossbow. Okay, so they actually are Warzone minis. So the same sculptors. Those are Target Games, Warzone or Chronopia miniatures. But you've also got some plastic War Machine stuff. You've got a Krios and a Repenter.
I think
you got some Grey Knights.
Some old Grey Knights I found in a bit box somebody gave me. I'm like, those are like kind of cool things.
Yeah, who's got the? Is that a firstborn with the banner there? What's that last Chronopia miniature?
This guy here, he is not a firstborn. He is the undead guys. I can't remember what he is. He's like a sorcerer or something like that.
Yeah,
I think I can remember. I
don't remember I remember the Ophidians were like the lizard people, and then there was the Black Bloods who were the orcs. The firstborn were the knights and barbarians. The devout.
That's it. And he's like one of their leaders or whatever. I have 2 of those models. I'm like, hey, you know what? I got a second one. Might as well do some modding with them.
And you're planning to chop these up and make like whatever you want.
Oh yeah, I kind of went with a theme with 80 shoulder pads. Like everything has the 80 style shoulder pads.
Awesome.
It's a big, huge thing.
So let's look at so what we're gonna do. So just for everyone watching, is we have little notebooks. I wrote Doomed on mine. You can write Doomed on yours if you want.
And mine's a pencil, can't really see.
These are our project notebooks for this. We're gonna pick our factions. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna randomly pick one because I want to kit bash this. We're both gonna commit to like that Blanchitsu messy painting style, and we're gonna convert out. Yeah, we're gonna go real grim dark for this one, and we're gonna convert out a nice sort of like project log of like pictures and stuff. So you guys, when you see the Let's Play, you can see like how all this got done. So you've got a bunch of different stuff that I think might work for you here as far as warbands. Now, the first one that I think fits like that knightly aesthetic you have on some of these models is probably going to be the Inheritors. Okay. So the Inheritor Court is like... we are the last remnants of old nobility and law, born to rule, cursed to die. So the visual themes for them are like autumn, helmets, and heraldry, nobility, law, and hierarchy. So their unit types are, and so I'm going to read them all out, and you pick which one you think is cool. Your leaders are like the sheriff, the marshal, or the judge, and then your followers are paragons, armored warriors, pathfinders, loners from the borders that are like what remains of your civilization. Champions, fervent followers with personal blessings, and then freelancers who are due to just like survive a little while. Chroniclers, legionnaires, zealots, and heralds. So they have that kind of like almost like demi-religious, noble, sort of like medieval kind of look to them. Then you've got the Lost. We have only our pathetic humanity to blame. Yet we understand our fall. We can rise to greater heights. Visual themes: winter, bionics, and chivalry. Tombs, stained glass, and verdigris. So these are a little more space marine-y. They've got curators, stewards, and sages. A little more knightly maybe for this one. Besiegers, harriers, errants, technolites, automata, falcons, seekers, and squires. So these are a lot more like space marine, I would say. Then the reborn covens, the warped. Life cannot survive in its natural state. Our greatest minds have done what nature could not, birthing and uprising. So visual themes are spring, icons, and mutation, science, revolution, and growth. So your leaders are then like the exemplar, the visionary, the brains, the host, like a vessel of like something from something greater, like an AI or a demon or something. Your followers are the offspring, the product of a fruitful rebirth. The keepers, the engineers, the informers, the anomalies. Sometimes a rebirth manifests itself in more extreme abilities. The kindred, the unborn, and the seers. Reborn weapons are most likely to draw on experimental methods too dangerous for their factions to consider. In some extreme cases, boundaries between mutation and weapons start to blur. Ooh, these are kind of like more of a freak brigade. And then finally, the exile bands, the wild. We were cast from the stars. Now we swear to no power greater than the trade and the hunt. Visual themes are summer, masks, and blood, wealth, chitin, and splendor. These are like aliens. There's literally a mech or a war jacket in the picture in this one too. Sweet. So that kind of works. So these could kind of be anything, but like your leaders are the alpha, the watcher, or the slayer. And then your followers are things like the elite, the warrior, the predator. And then there you go. Always looking for new prey. Stalkers, blooded, oathbound, prophets, and spotters. And I think that's it. Yeah, those are all there's 4 different warband types. So you got a bunch of visual themes going here. And this is one way I think of doing this is you pick a group of models and then you pick what you think your visual theme is supported by the most.
Well, I think the warband, the judge, the marshal and stuff.
Okay.
Because I can probably use him as a judge or something along those lines. Have a couple, I think it almost came with knights as well in there. A couple of buddy knights. Not sure this guy can be used for maybe I don't know if they have an enforcer type thing, but
maybe you could upgrade him. I don't know. Maybe. But you've definitely got your chaos cult. You get some plastic chaos cults there too.
So for like I don't know, the zealots or the people they found on the road.
Yeah,
that was a description of that, right? The wanderers. Sense, like that'd be perfect for them.
I'm into it.
And plastic, easy to convert. You know, that's what I'm kind of going for here.
All right, so let's make some notes then. So you're picking the inheritors.
Inheritors, okay.
So now for creating your warbands, each warband is based around a single faction. You have a maximum of 8 units. You get your leader for free, but you have to buy many weapons and upgrades. So, and remember, you don't have to have these miniatures the way they are. You can cut them up if you want to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're definitely getting cut up.
Each warband is based around a single faction. They start with 20 renown points to spend. A warband consists of 8 units, each represented by a single miniature. Exactly 1 must be chosen to be a leader, and you have 20 renown points to spend. So the number dictates how many renown points you can spend on equipment and followers for each battle. So you've got quality as your skill, or your basically your dice roll you need to do an action. So like leaders are 3+, followers are a 4+, and then your basic guys are a 5+. They also all might have a rule. So like precise is you reroll a shot. When you're shooting, fierce is reroll melee attacks. Tough is I believe reroll saves.
Okay.
And you can go ahead and pick. So pick 20 points worth. So remember, your leader is free, but you have to pick one of the 3 styles, and we'll note it all in our notebooks.
Okay.
And then you've got your gear list on the next page after, so on page 22, of all the weapons and what they cost. So your equipment for your leader does cost renown.
But not the good leader himself.
And you don't need to have all 8 slots filled because you can fill them up later on too, right?
Okay. Sweet.
And then I'm going to randomly pick, I think, my faction for afterwards. Okay. So you got your list made. So you've picked your models, and we'll have a look at those, and everybody can see. You picked Krios. You picked 3 Chronopia miniatures.
Yes, I did.
A Devout and 2 Firstborn.
Yep.
And then a Warjack.
You gotta have a Warjack.
I mean, if you're gonna,
he's the judge's buddy there, right? He's got like, hey,
to
go
be
get those
fair,
guys.
this is also your centerpiece, right? You need to have a centerpiece when you're making a creation like this, I feel like, and this gives you a cool thing to like doom up, I guess, make look like it's shuddering. So what's our theme here? So your theme, I believe, for that warband is autumn.
Is autumn,
so like
yes.
warm
So-
colors,
so
reds
like
and browns.
Yep, reds, browns, oranges, stuff like that. Lots of heraldry, so like banners, checkered plates on them and stuff like that.
It's also death and decay.
It's
So
also
like
true.
rust,
Oh yes,
grime.
because this is like a apocalyptic world, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have all the stuff to maintain their equipment, so
Yeah.
it's going to be pretty rough.
It's going to be in bad shape. It's basically
Yes.
like inherited technology, right? So you've
Mm-hmm.
got these like old sort of like broken mechs that they're still using to try and hunt these monsters and the dooms themselves. And that's the last thing. I think for our first episode, we should decide each of us should make a doom
Okay.
to go with this, and we'll randomly generate our dooms now, and we have to figure out what this monster is going to get made from, how it's going to look,
Oh, man.
and whatever we need for the scenario. So then
I'm looking forward
you can
to-
play my doom and I can play your doom, and we can have 2 games the first time we do this.
Nice. I'm looking forward to digging through my bits box for that.
Well, how about
I have a ton of stuff for that.
what kind of dice do I need to generate the doom? Let's generate
just-
a doom right now.
Just D6s, I think, in this game.
I
or-
think it's I grabbed D6s thinking it was just D6s.
Well, we could be wrong.
We should be okay. I'm gonna find the horrors. So not dooms, the horrors. The horror list. I think there's a big chart for it. Okay, yeah, there is. Okay, so we don't have to worry about anything except for the horrors that we're picking for this one. So roll me a. Actually, I guess we'll do the conflict as well. So roll me the D66. So first is high dice.
Just totally not in the
6.
box.
I like how
Six.
we
Totally
put a dice tray
missed.
down to try and baffle all of the bang that was going to happen, and then Chase just immediately
Just ignored it. Just like, there you go.
all of our bets plans.
Well, then we know which one's which, right? One out of the box is the high one of the box is the
So
low one.
6
There
and
we
3.
go.
So you have the table is the cataphractal. And then the worshippers is the conflict. Something's worshiping the cataphractal. So let's look up the cataphractal and hear its description. So the horror is the cataphractal, which is on page 106. All right. Armor technology to protect the wearer and punish even hostile thoughts. At the start of the game, deploy the cataphractal in the center of the board. It's basically a giant warjack.
I can do something
It's
with that.
a big evil robot.
I have some things for that. Okay.
It's armed with an infinity blade, a psych projector, so some type of like mentally crystally shooty thing, and then a hostility reprimand system, so some kind of crowd control device. And then its nexuses, they are called fragments of the horror bending through space just within our perception. So it's some type of like technology breaking through space-time to attack us. And I don't believe it has any followers. It's just a huge, horrifying monster thing.
So it's going to create one giant monster for it then.
Yes. Well, and you have to make the nexuses.
Nexus,
There's 3
okay.
nexuses that we can destroy too. So
Okay.
3 like pieces of it that have fallen off and
Okay.
like somehow bent through space-time. So think of like Doctor
Yeah.
Strange, where like the technology is starting to like break apart and like fractalize through the universe, or like
Okay. There's some fun with this.
or the visuals from I was also going to say Inception,
Okay.
right, where there's like a
Where
weird
things just
sort
kind of break
like,
off and have like
yeah,
this world
or it's like
behind it.
doubled, or like, you know what I mean, like stuff is like doubled and tripled and like bent out of shape, non-Euclidean geometry kind of stuff, that kind of thing. For those listening, if you understand the term non-Euclidean geometry, it basically means weird angles out of space, and it was the most, besides the word cyclopean, was the most read word in any H.P. Lovecraft books. And so then the second one you had was worshippers. So this is our conflict for this one.
Okay.
And we'll decide randomly which one we do first. Worshippers is going to be page 153. So the cataphractal and worshippers. This horror has attracted even more followers than normal. So people are basically, so you do need to make some like freaky cultists for this thing
Cultists,
too.
okay.
Dense terrain across the board. The warbands deploy opposite. Deploy 5 horror worshippers evenly around the horror, or in the center of the board if more suitable. The horror worshippers are unbound and treat both warbands as enemies. They are nimble, quality 5+. They have fists and hopeless prayers, so they're just unarmed freaks.
Unarmed freaks just running around slapping people.
Like
Worship!
it's more like they thought this technology was going to save them, or they summoned it, or like
Yep.
they're somehow driven mad by it.
No weapons. Okay.
Also, optional twist: faith power. The horror gains a benefit depending on the number of worshippers that it can see at the start of its turn. So they might get free actions and stuff, basically because they're supporting the horror.
Okay.
And then objective, at the end of the third round, the warband is taken out, the most worshippers wins.
Nice.
So whichever one of us
just
kills the
kill
most
unarmored
fruits.
people.
That's
it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're a judge.
I am a judge. That's right. No, that's it.
You're judging these people. All right. So I'm going to randomly determine. I have an idea for my warband leader already that I was jotting down, which I'll take a picture of in a minute. But let's. So I have D3. I have to roll for what my remaining.
Okay. Remember, in the box.
Oh, I brought the box. So D3. I got 2 as my remaining one, which means mine is going to be. Well, I'm excited about this. So the reborn covens.
Oh man.
So I have 3 different. Oh yeah. Okay. I've got some options here. All right. So we're back after this. This fits my drawing I've already done, which I'm excited about because one of the leader options, it can be equipped with a cloak, which I think is cool. And I already drew him with a cloak. All right. So I know what my leader's going to be. I want to build my warband too, and we'll go through it. I don't have my miniatures yet though, because my goal is. So we're doing this 2 different ways. One is get some miniatures that you like and build a warband around them. Mine is I'm going to take the inspiration of this roll and then decide what I want to make to go with it. All right, so I've got my warband built. It's the House of Doors. We've got our leader. I haven't got a name for him, but he's the Visionary. And his deal is he comes equipped with a cloak, which means he gets +1 saves when he's exhausted, so he's already activated. And he can also swap the position of 2 guys that he can see in his warband at the end of his activation. He's armed with the lethal probe. We're going to give him a staff called the Key. It opens the door that he can't find. Why are you laughing when I say probe?
I don't know.
You're so immature.
This
is a mature game for mature people, Chase.
Sorry. I may get older. I don't mature, man. That's it's a probe.
And a scatter blaster, which makes him expensive. And yes, so the house of secret doors is led by a nameless visionary with a large key. He's got 2 sort of like helpers. We have a keeper, the nursemaid with claws that can revive a model in base to base. We have the seer, and we're going to call him the watcher, and he can telepathically move a model at the end of his activation. The pistol. Then we've got 2 anomalies with no equipment. The anomalies are crazy because they're basically just like. In my head, they're basically like, I don't know if you ever played this game called Control. No. They're basically like floating holes in space. I'm going to call them that which is not there. And they're
not bad.
They basically roll a quality test at the end of their turn, and something they can see either takes the damage of the roll they get. If they pass on a 5-6,
yep.
You take 5 or 6 points of damage.
Jeez.
Yeah, which means 5 or 6 saves, or they take the damage if they fail it. So more likely than not, the nursemaid's just going to be like, trying to put them back together all the time. And then finally we have an engineer, the toy maker. I might call him the locksmith, or I've got to come up with better names for these, with a pistol. And that's my starting warband. So I got 6 models. I have a theme, this like visionary who is trying to walk between worlds and has this like ancient weird key device that he's constantly using. I feel like a lot of machinery is going to get involved, but also a lot of that kind of quantum, like holes in space stuff. So it would make sense that we're seeking out this weird, the cataphracty thing.
I think so. I think
for one of our
plays
conflicts.
really nice into that.
But now I have to generate my conflict and aberration. So I got to roll 2d6. So the high die, d6 is going to be 2. The low die is going to be 3. So 2, 3. Let's see what I have to generate for this first game. And we would typically do this like at the end of like hanging out today, playing a game. We just pick what we're going to do next, but we're going to do it first today. So then play some afterwards. So 2, 3 is going to be 2, the Burning Brute and the Oasis is what we're trying to get after here. So 65 is our horror. The Burning Brute. A spark birthed a blaze, and now an inferno of congealed brazen flesh. Destroy the brute in the center of the board. It is a horrifying monster. It also has minions that are embers, which are pieces of it that fall off and burn. I actually reviewed this guy during the GMG review of this book. And then the Oasis is our conflict on page 122. Let's see what the Oasis is. So I have to do a giant molten man. I'm just thinking like the bad guy from Moana. Like when she's like angry. Yeah. She's like angry, like a weird, like angry, like an Efreet kind of spirit, you know what I mean? Yep. That kind of thing. A rare patch of natural beauty in a doomed world is the Oasis. Huh? Blasted rocks and vegetation surround a beautiful, clean water source. So like an unnaturally clean water source. I think is cool. This water's feature is designated as the Oasis. Now, our spring and rebirth thing is, it could be technological. I don't know how we'll make this look cool, but I'm going to try and build the Oasis. At the end of each round, both warbands get points equal to the number of standing units they have touching the Oasis. When either warband reaches 9 points, then the warband with the highest total wins, in case the first player wins. That's really cool because this one didn't have minions in it.
Right.
So the horror is this like weird burning thing near the Oasis, this like thing that everyone's trying to get to. So we'll have to generate some cool models for that. So I'm excited. So mine's the Burning Beast.
Burning Beast.
Horror. The Burning Beast.
I like that. I like the beast going to the Oasis to destroy it or something like that. To make it back into his image.
I'm going to try and get esoteric with the Oasis, though, so that like it might make sense that there's a weird burning thing near it. And then the Oasis.
Maybe a guardian for the Oasis.
Maybe I'll call it the Wonder Wall. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Breach the Wonder Wall. Yeah, I don't know, man. You laughed at Probe. I had to make a dad joke in that somehow. And that's my first mission. Sweet. So we got a plan. So this is how it works. And then Chase and I won't see each other for like 30 days and then come back and play this game.
I have all my miniatures ready, like, hey, let's play. And that's it.
That's it.
That's what we do.
We'll throw down and actually figure out the Doomed. So you guys were really excited during the review for us to play the Doomed. So Chase jumped right on it and was like, let's do it. This is typically how projects happen.
100%.
Like, to be honest, like when I review a book, one of my friends goes, I'd love to play that game with you, and then we sit down and make a plan on what that's going to look like, and then you guys get to see the result of it. I wanted to capture all the steps this time, so you can watch my Instagram. Chase is going to send me pictures of his stuff as he converts and paints it.
Yep.
I'll probably do the rest of like the tracking of this stuff on social media, not in video, so check out my other social media. It's facebook.com/outofthebasement into the streets or at Guerrilla Miniature Games, and you can see pictures of this stuff as like we convert it up and paint it and get the rest of this idea going. But this is my favorite part of doing this. I'll be honest, like, the most enjoyment I get from making these videos is this process of sitting down and thinking about what we're going to do and like getting inspired, the making of it, and then the payoff is the moment before we play the game when it's all like in front of us and it looks just
like the table set up, miniatures are there, ready to play. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
This is it for me. This is my favorite. I like how I just keep sponsoring these videos with Tim Hortons. This is my,
sorry,
where's my Tim Hortons sponsorship at this point? Like, come on, it's been 8 years, guys.
Come on, Tim.
I know your franchises, but just pay attention to me. I'm giving you so much free business. So the plan obviously will be that we throw down the next time we see each other and we'll play some Doom and you guys get to watch it. So hope you enjoyed this, like how it gets made. Thanks, Chase, for bearing with me and
no worries. Hey,
trying new things, making new videos in the new space. We're gonna play some Relic Blade now.
Absolutely,
and we're gonna play some Catacombs of Corral. So you guys might get to see that well, you won't see that before this comes out, but you'll see it around the same time. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Chase.
Hey, welcome.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.